عسلامة ومرحبا بكم الناس الكل في إطلالة جديدة في ذا انترفيو. الفقرة هذه اللي خصصناها لكم انتوما خاصة باش تطلعوا على شنو جديد الموجود في كرة القدم العالمية أو زاد عنا كرة القدم العربية. ولكن نعرف بحكم الكوفيد والكورونا في العالم الكل ما نجموش نمشي ولا ما نجموش يجيونا، هذاك وعلاش خصصنا الفقرة هذه باش ديما نجيبوا لكم شخصية رياضية معروفة سواء في الميدان الإعلام الرياضي أو لاعب أو مدرب كرة قدم سابق. الملاعب اللي باش نحكيه معاه اليوم هو أسطورة كرة قدم انجليزية، ملاعبي سجل 725 هدف في تاريخه، ملاعبي تقمص أزياء المنتخب الانجليزي في برشا مناسبات، ملاعبي لعب مع مايكل أون، لعب مع ستيفن جيرارد، لعب مع ديفيد بيكهام، لعب كذلك مع كامبل، ملاعبي لعب ليفربول، أستون فيلا، لعب في بولتون، برشا فرق إنجليزية أخرى. نحب نحكيه معاه على حظوظ الفرق الإنجليزية في دوري أبطال أوروبا، تشيلسي، المانيو، ليفربول والسيتي. نفس الشيء باش نحكيه معاه على أحسن لاعب إنجليزي يشوفوا في الوقت الحالي في الفترة الحالية وشكون ينجم يكون بطل البطولة الإنجليزية. ضيفنا باش يكون حاضر معنا توا، باش يكون حاضر معنا اليوم هو أسطورة من أساطير كرة القدم الإنجليزية. نحكي على إيميل هيسكي، مهاجم المنتخب الإنجليزي اللي حاضر معنا عبر سكايب باش نحكيه معاه برشا كورة وباش نحكيه معاه في البرونوستيك شنو المقابلات اللي تنجموا تلعبوهم. خلي نرحب بيه كيف ما تشوفوا الترجمة موجودة عندكم. نرحب بضيفنا لليوم اللي حاضر معنا عبر سكايب إيميل هيسكي. Legend, first of all, thank you so much for accepting our request to have you interviewed.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I'm proud also to be the first Tunisian that have an English or an England football player interviewed through Skype. As I remember, I don't remember that any Tunisian have done it before.
For us both.
All right, let's start with your book, Legend. A book that you released in your post as a striker. You named it Even Heskey Can Score. Even that you've scored 725 goals in your career. What is the reason?
Well, after the legendary game that we played against Germany where we won 5-1, that was one of the things that the fans were singing. So I thought, why not take that and use it for my book?
All right, Legend. Since you've quit playing, we've never seen a football player in England in your national team that has the same potential, or physically, like you. What is the reason?
It's just different. I think when I came through, I had a relationship with Michael Owen, especially when it comes to the national team. I had a relationship with Michael Owen, who was another wonderful striker, one of the best out there, and our chemistry was one that helped both of us, you know. So for myself, it was just the time that I played in suited me, and everyone, and I was enjoying my time. So yeah.
All right, let's talk about your career. You've played 62 games with your national team and scored only 7 goals. Don't you think it's not that much? For a player like you as a striker.
No, but again, it depends on how you play as a striker. I wasn't playing as a goal scoring striker. I was playing as a link up player and as a player who bring people in, who create for others. So yeah, if you look at it just from the stats, but then you look at the other stats of creation of games we won when playing, etc. It's totally it paints a different picture.
But numbers are different in clubs. You've played in the Premier League 516 games, you scored 110 and 53 assists.
Again, it's a case of getting in the right areas and producing for, not just for myself, but for others as well. One thing that I will say is, you say striker, but I played everywhere on the pitch. I never just played striker. I played on the wing. I played in the midfield. I played at the back. So I played everywhere on the pitch, not just up front, where that's where you have an intelligence to apply your trade in different positions, where others will just stay in one position and pigeonhole themselves.
All right, legend. Different situations, different players, different time as well. But don't you think that Emil Heskey and Lukaku are a bit similar? They look a bit the same?
No, not really. Lukaku's a goal scorer. I was more of a ball player, a player that you could bring the ball into, play off. Lukaku is a goal scorer. Lukaku, because everyone sees his size, they say that, oh yeah, he may be like you. Well, Lukaku is a goal scorer like Michael Owen. Lukaku's goal scoring record is up there with the best of them. So you have to put him in that bracket. Lukaku is a phenomenal goal scorer at that, and this is where people forget at times what he's actually achieved. They look at what he actually does on the pitch at times and really forget about what he actually achieves. He's a top goal scorer I think in Belgian history now, for the national team. He's at Inter, I think he broke another record that was held by, or equaled or broke it, that was held by the great Ronaldo. So you're looking at one of the best goal scorers in the world, in world football, and I don't think he gets the recognition for that. But he played totally different to myself. I was more of a player that would get the ball, bring it down, play people in, create, be a bit of a how can we say, a bit of a battering ram up there. Run the channels. I was a little bit different to Lukaku.
Right, Heskey, you've played for several clubs in your career. I mean, such as Leicester City, Liverpool, Wigan, Aston Villa, Birmingham as well. Which has a specific place in your heart? Which of them has special memories?
Well, I'm from Leicester, so being from Leicester and then starting my career at Leicester is always special, because it's a place where all my family are from. So you get to grow up there, you get to see things and then see my progression. My family got to see my progression from being a kid into an adult at the club that I went to from a young age. But being a Liverpool fan as well, being able to make that transition from Leicester to Liverpool was phenomenal, and it was great for me, because it's when you're a young kid, you always idolize someone, and you always idolize something, and you strive to be that person, or be playing for that team, and that team was Liverpool that I wanted to play for.
All right, let's talk a little bit about Liverpool. Being a Liverpool player and playing in the Anfield is every player's dream. In your book, you say that you've cried few nights asking yourself, did you take the right decision when you moved from Leicester to Liverpool?
Yeah, but that was something different, in the sense of I was still a young boy. I was only 22 years old. I'd never left Leicester, which is where all my family, friends are from, and then I go to another city and I don't know no one, I don't know anything, and I look back now, I was probably just homesick, being a bit homesick and understanding that I'm going to be away from my family and everything. I just didn't know if it was the right thing. But then I would go to training and I'd be fine. I'd be totally fine in training, because I'd be around the players and I'd be around my friends. So it was a tough time, but you have to get through them tough times.
All right, let's talk about players. You've played with a lot of legends, such as Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, Ashley Cole, Wayne Rooney. If I tell you, or I ask you to pick one, who would you pick?
I always say Paul Scholes and Steven Gerrard, but Steven Gerrard because I would, out of the two, I would say Steven Gerrard, because I played with him more. I played with him at national team and at Liverpool, and from such a young age you could see what he was going to do, and how good he was and what he was going to do.
All right, legend. Let's start with the pronostic. Let me start with Ajax Amsterdam against Liverpool. Your expectations?
you look at you look at Ajax. They've always got good young players, young and hungry players. So, and they play some really exciting football. So it's not going to be easy. Obviously Liverpool's got some injury problems at this moment in time. It seems like everyone's either falling down injured or they've got COVID. So hopefully they'll get a couple back from the COVID. But again, it's never going to be an easy game against an Ajax side. But when you're a Liverpool side, you always want to go out there and produce and go and win. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up as a draw.
All right, another Champions League game. I'm talking about Porto against Man City. Man
City is a phenomenal team. You know, this is a cup that they have struggled over the years to win, and it's something that they feel they should be winning. So it'll be interesting to see if they can do that. I think they've got more than enough to win that. But again, it's going to be a tough game for them. But they know, especially with the strength of this, they've probably got the strongest squad in the Champions League at this moment in time. But as we know, you've got to have that know-how. Bayern and teams like this know how to win. Regardless of whether they've got the weakened side, they know how to win because they've been in it year in, year out, and they know what it takes to win them games. So, but I still see Man City coming through that.
Manchester United against Paris Saint-Germain.
Tough game for United. Don't get me wrong, they won the last one, but it's still a tough game for them. And they're not really having the best of times right now, United. So I could see Paris Saint-Germain nicking this one.
CV against Chelsea.
Say that again.
CV against Chelsea, the Blues.
I think Frank Lampard's done a phenomenal job up to now, and he's got them playing some exciting football. Granted, defensively they haven't really got it quite right yet, but I think going forward they look very, very exciting. So I would go with Chelsea for that one.
All right, legend. As per the performance, I mean until the moment, as per the performance in the Premier League, who can you see can win the title this season? I mean, between City, Liverpool, Leicester, Man United, who can get this trophy? Who's the champion this season?
Wow. The games have been up and down. You know, Liverpool go and get beat by Aston Villa really badly, and then come back and win, and then Aston Villa go and lose quite badly, then come back and win against Arsenal. It's going to be tough to actually call how it goes, to be honest with you, because again, Liverpool now are missing some key players. You would have thought they would have run away with it now, but they're missing some key players now going forward. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Leicester look like they could be a dark horse in this, but they did the same last year, and I think after Christmas, in the new year, they kind of fell away a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see if Brendan can really get them to sustain and mount a really sustainable launch for that top spot.
England's national team performance wasn't that good as expected. I mean, even the ex-international players didn't expect England to lose against Belgium the last game in the Nations League without even scoring a game. Since that game, a lot of journalists, a lot of reports blaming Southgate.
Well, the thing is, you say that, but you're playing against Belgium. Belgium are the number one in the world at this moment in time. So you know that, and they're there for a reason. So let's give them a little bit of respect they are due. And when you're a manager, you know, sometimes being a manager of a national team is tough. One, you've got to get the players right. You've got 6 days to get the players right and get them ready for what you want them to do. And then two, you've got to try and keep the nation happy, keep the media, everyone happy, which is which is difficult at times. I think Sterling's injured anyway, so and then we've got so much abundance in certain areas. It's sometimes too hard to pick at times. You got Sancho, you got Sterling, you've got Mason Mount, you've got all these wonderful young players as well. Hudson-Odoi is gone with the 21s, but he's still there in the background. Then you've got up front, you've got Harry Kane and players like that who can score goals. Danny Ings who can score goals. Danny Ings is injured at the minute, but players that can score goals. So he's picking the right for that structure, and it's tough. He's having a tough time of it right now, but he's played the best. He's played the Belgium, who's number one. So I don't think we could really be too downbeat and too hard on Gareth Southgate because of losing against the best.
Few questions and pick one. Who's the best English player now?
Sterling. Best English player right now is Raheem Sterling. The ability to go past players, the ability to play in different positions, the ability to pick up the ball and drive with it, find pockets to go and turn and get at people. And now he's added the finishing to it, scoring 15 plus goals a season. Sterling.
Mohamed Salah or Riyad Mahrez? Both of them plays in England.
Salah for goals, Mahrez for entertainment.
For the show, you mean?
Yes.
All right, legend. Thanks a lot, Emil Heskey. It was my pleasure to have you interview through Skype.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. كان معاكم إيميل هيسكي. كيف ما شفتوا جاوب على برشا أسئلة، أعطاكم برشا توقعات بما يخص مقابلات الفرق الإنجليزية في دوري أبطال أوروبا. حكى على السيتي، على ليفربول، حكى على المان يو، وحكى على تشيلسي البلوز زاد، حكى على أحسن ملاعبي إنجليزي، حكى على لوكاكو، وحكى على المنتخب الإنجليزي. إن شاء الله يكونوا نصايحه ومعلوماته فادوكم برشا. أنا هكا نكون وصلت الختام ذا انترفيو اليوم. أما نوعدكم الحلقات القليلة القادمة عنا برشا أسامي أخرى كيما إيميل هيسكي. تشاو تشاو.